screen right now?
No, I'm sharing, but in about 2 or 3 minutes, I'll let you guys share.
I'll do the same thing. We just.
Have fun. Let me know how.
All right, I'm gonna start letting people in. Yeah, I think so. I think we're good. Thank you.
You're right.
Right, we know that we don't bring out the students from this desk.
No. Good, so I gotta check out my. I don't need mics to do it.
Nope, that big old thing up there, green lights. Oh, look at that. Welcome to our virtual folks. Can y'all hear us? Give us a thumbs up or say something in the chat. Yay, they can hear us.
Okay. Bet you by the time we get up there, all those hats are gone. It's probably gonna last.
I think they will be. But I think we'll have enough hats for everybody in here soon.
We've got a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, they never turned that clock back, so
Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're done according to that clock.
Yeah.
Everybody can have lunch.
It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got all your questions answered.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna stop sharing so you can
Okay.
start sharing.
Started using your hack for that.
That's great.
You know,
Just gives you a leg up. Although I don't know what these are gonna be, but. Where'd Jean go? She's 25% of our audience.
she's back.
Jean, you better sit down. There's only 4 people here.
Oh, we're coming.
Where are you from?
Stafford.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Stafford.
We've met.
Oh, yeah. Clark. Bristol. Bristol. All
Nice.
right.
And we've got a good cross section and
You got 10 people online. Don't forget about that.
I think we do traverse the state here.
we do.
Got Ridgeway from Virginia.
Dave.
And Denise.
4.
I don't even know what Ridgeway.
And I'm right in the middle.
Lee,
Dave's in the
where's
middle.
Ridgeway?
Where do you live in Charleston?
Gloucester. No, I'm in Gloucester.
Okay, Gloucester. Tom's Roanoke.
Somebody from Salem. Nice.
Take my customary seat. How many we got on the guest list there? About 6?
11. Well, 10 from.
Ridgeway is right beside Martinsville.
Okay.
That makes sense. Thanks, Lee.
I believe that's Magna Vista High School in Ridgeway, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Right down the road.
That's not Henry County.
Magna Vista? I think it's Pennsylvania, actually.
Pennsylvania.
So there's Magna Vista High School. There's is it Alta or Alta?
Alta Vista. Alta Vista's Campbell County.
Is it? Okay.
We got somebody from Washington County. Oh, nice.
That's Abington.
We do have the whole state here, represented well.
All right, we're right at time.
Let's go. All right, welcome everybody. We're going to talk about Virtual Virginia today, give you an overall program update, sort of an umbrella update. We do have a session later today. We're going to talk about our outreach program specifically, but today we're going to cover everything. And we'll be a little interactive as well. We have some a quiz giveaway at intermittent times throughout the slides, and those are probably our last 6 hats, our beanie hats that we have. They've gone all this morning, so you guys are lucky. You're probably all guaranteed to get one.
Right.
Well, I am Brian. I'm the Executive Director of Virtual Virginia, and joining me is.
Sarah Warnick, Director of Products and Services.
And as I said, today we have well, let's talk about first of all what Virtual Virginia is. For those of you who aren't familiar, I think everybody in here should be by now. We are the DOE's online course, statewide LMS, digital content, and professional learning provider to schools, students, and educators across the state. And how it works is we partner together to ensure that learners of both K-12 and adult learners have access and opportunity that's a complement to what's available in the physical school. We're not trying to replace what happens in brick and mortar buildings. We're trying to enhance and complement what's available. As I mentioned today, we're going to talk about all 3 of our core programs. The first, what we call is our complementary program, that's our K-12 instruction, where Virtual Virginia teaches courses with Virtual Virginia teachers. And as I mentioned, that partnership is so critical. And we're all trying to create the environment for a successful online learner these days. And the last 2 years, a little short of 2 years, we've learned what works and what doesn't work. And Virtual Virginia's model has been around for 20 years, over 20 years. And it's been successful, and it really involves a combined interest by both the public school division and the Virtual Virginia program. I know it's difficult to read here for those who are attending live, but at Virtual Virginia, we do what we do best. We provide access to content, resources, instruction, and that online learning environment. The public school, they do what they do best. They provide a counselor, a school-based mentor who really is the facilitator and interacts with students to keep them on track and engaged. Textbooks, materials, and any student services remain the responsibility of the public school as well. And working together for over, like I said, over 20 years, we have created that environment for successful online. So let's talk about our complementary program. It is no secret. Virtual Virginia has grown dramatically in the last 2.5 years. We had been growing prior to that every year pretty consistently, and we were really pleased. But obviously with the COVID pandemic, things were accelerated quite a bit on our end. As I mentioned earlier, in our K-12 program, Virtual Virginia provides the online instruction in core, world language, elective, and AP offerings as well throughout the state. Sarah, what are we up to? How many courses are we? It's over 100.
Over
It
100.
changes, yeah.
We haven't, yeah. we
It
haven't done the count.
changes literally. It just depends on what week you ask that question, because spring semesters are coming up and our catalog is continuing to grow. And again, it's unique because Virginia educators are our backbone in this program. These are Virginia licensed educators. They come to us from all over the state and all over the country at this point. And so we've expanded this year to support more divisions by offering more courses, and of course, more learners have enrolled in our programs. What is unique about Virtual Virginia is that learners remain affiliated with their school division. So they remain part of that school community, part of that school culture, even though they're doing their learning experience online. Some of the things that make Virtual Virginia unique, as I mentioned, all Virginia certified educators. We do offer core and supplemental instructions in grades K-5 and over 100 courses in grades 6 through 12. How that sets us apart is there are lots of providers out there these days. Some only do K-5, some only do 6-12, some are limited in what they offer in those spaces as well. Virtual Virginia does provide the whole complement grades K through 12. And another thing that makes Virtual Virginia unique is we do daily synchronous learning. That's in whole group, small group, and one-to-one setting. So some programs are just asynchronous, some are heavily synchronous. At Virtual Virginia, we do a steady diet of both and provide learners daily access for whole group, small group, and one-to-one. What is unique about Virtual Virginia? Students can be part-time or full-time. Students can be enrolled in as few as a half credit or as many credits as they need to graduate. Again, there are other providers out there that are just part-time, some are full-time. We're trying to support school divisions by giving them the full catalog of part-time and full-time options. And all this has led to, as I mentioned, incredible growth here in the program. This is numbers from last month, 92,000 fall enrollments in Virtual Virginia. What is also unique about Virtual Virginia is everybody, when you forecast out a school year, your fall membership is usually your high point. We actually grew over the fall. Spring is larger than fall at Virtual Virginia. So, it's going well in short terms. First quiz question. Here we go for those in attendance
This is
live.
for a,
You're not eligible in the back row.
fine, you
You're
are,
eligible.
just that.
I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be able.
First question, it's a softball. Do students enrolled in Virtual Virginia remain affiliated with their school? Yes, he got it first. I was staring at him the whole time.
Don't worry, your turn's
I stared him
coming.
down for that one.
There's more.
You probably get a good penny for that afterwards. They're all gone.
Mine's on eBay.
So all those variables combined have made Virtual Virginia incredibly successful over the last year and a half. And we are really excited about the future and where the program's going to go. I'll let Sarah talk a little bit about our K-5 program in particular.
So when we look at the K-5 program, last year we started with a pilot in the spring and a small number of students and have really grown this year to offer full-time K-5 instruction. We offer instruction in all of the core areas, math, science, reading and language arts, social studies, and STEM. We also offer many different specials, and we tried to focus on things that students wouldn't ordinarily have access to. So our students are taking world languages, they're taking, they have weekly STEM lessons that where they're working on practical applications of the math and science. They're doing ballroom dance and physical education, just some different opportunities that they ordinarily wouldn't have in their division. On our side, we provide the full-time teacher record, like Brian said. Our model is heavily synchronous. Our students are in synchronous sessions between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. And that's a mix of whole group, small group. We also have the one-to-one pieces. They do some asynchronous content. We write all of our content in-house, and we're continuing to add to that every year. So we'll talk a little bit more about that and on the outreach side and what's available. We support division autonomy. So there are many divisions who are still offering specials in art and music and physical education and library. We also support the local assessments because we have divisions across the state that are doing benchmarks. We also have the regular ones that everyone does with PALS and the map testing and some of those other pieces. And so we work with them to make sure that students are available during the day for that testing. And we share the CVRS piece for the BKRP. We work with divisions to make sure that we're sharing as much information about how the students are progressing. It's part of that partnership. Again, that one-to-one and small group instruction can happen during the day, but it can also happen in the afternoons. And that really allows us to differentiate for students' needs, where we're finding gaps or where students may need enrichment. We're able to provide that in a way that doesn't call them out in the middle of a class. And finally, we offer office hours for parents and guardians because we know that students are learning primarily from home. Whoever that is supervising adult is has a really important role in supporting students, making sure that they have a secure learning environment, making sure that they're progressing. So that communication piece with the Virtual Virginia team and the teachers is really important.
You don't have to look far to find rewarding experiences here at Virtual Virginia, but one of those is hearing from our parents and guardians how really pleased they are with the program.
So what does it look like for our K-5 teachers? They are online in pretty traditional hours, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. They do synchronous sessions between 8 and 1. We have one day that's a little bit more flexible on Wednesdays where they end a little bit earlier. And that's where we focus on those small group sessions, the one-to-ones. And it also gives some time for those students who might be receiving services at the school. Maybe they have speech services. Maybe they're getting EL instruction. So it allows that flexibility, and the schools know that they can partner with us during that time. After 1 p.m. again, that small group, the parent-teacher conferences, that's really been an ongoing piece just to help make sure that they're involved in the whole process. And then again, those supplemental lessons that we offer in art, dance, world languages, STEM, and PE. You want to throw out another question?
The question is, do you? Let's do 6 to 12. And then we'll
Okay. So the 6 through 12, again, we have over 100 courses that we offer. When we talk about our expansion, we'll talk about what we're going to be adding to these courses that we teach. But right now we offer courses in computer science, English, fine arts, health and physical education, math, science, social studies, and world languages. On the computer science end, we really have grown. We offer the 36-week middle school computer science elective. We also have foundations, principles, programming, and then the 2 AP courses. Of these, in all of the content areas, we offer 28 AP courses. And so a lot of our secondary students, if they're AP students, sometimes they're just taking an AP course because it's not offered locally, or maybe it's only offered during one block and it doesn't fit into their schedule because they've had, they've got orchestra or something else that conflicts locally. So traditionally, that's been a supplemental class for students, but we are seeing a larger growth now in the full-time model for our 6 through 12 learners. Our full-time teacher of record, again, Virginia certified teachers. Our model is synchronous and asynchronous. Our students have synchronous instruction group sessions 4 times a week, and then we have Fridays allocated specifically for one-to-one sessions. And that's not to say it doesn't happen during the rest of the week, but we have one day set aside specifically for that. And then again, it's that model that allows for flexibility with this small group and one-to-one.
Quiz 2 for the red this time.
Ding, ding.
Do students enrolled in virtual Virginia courses have opportunity for one-to-one sessions with their teacher? Bristol got it. First nod.
I feel like this side of the room
I
is-
did it. I'm not.
You're just
guys.
ignoring
I'm
Lindsay.
putting
I
out
heard
plenty
her
of
say it
facts.
every time. You
I
just
was gonna
ignore.
say, I know.
Spinning it around.
You definitely don't count, Steve. I mean, you
Also,
count.
I'm also looking for some gender bias.
So I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about what the model looks like for our teachers. They are, again, are online between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. They also offer 2 flex hours in the evening, and that will vary by instructor. And that just allows some additional time for those students who might be taking one class and they need a little bit of help during the evening. Our adjunct instructors, primarily our adjuncts are working with our AP courses, and it's generally where it's a harder to staff course and the numbers are lower. So AP music theory, for example, and some of those computer science courses. So in terms of the adjuncts, they work Monday through Thursday, 2 hours. Office hours always include synchronous time, and then as well, time to meet one-to-one. Our instructors communicate regularly. We talked a little bit about what that looks like for the K-5, but it is a lot of communication at the secondary level because our students, whether they think they're a little bit more independent, they still need those supports. They need the support of a mentor, a supervising adult who's going to be checking in on their progress, making sure that as well that the virtual Virginia teacher has a point of contact if the student isn't progressing, if they're not logging in, or maybe if we need to get some additional supports in place. So that really is a critical role for them. And so one example of that is just a due this week email we send out to all stakeholders. So it goes to students and parents, the mentor, and also the supporting counselor, just letting them know what's coming up. And that way they can, if they're working in a classroom with a group, they can post it on the board or they can just check in one-to-one.
So what's also unique, as I mentioned, is that partnership and those relationships that Virtual Virginia builds with public school personnel. And so this year, we started bi-weekly meetings every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. where public schools can invite their personnel who support virtual learners and their virtual learners to meet with our team. And we talk about things in the context of how to support these learners. So in the beginning of the year, it's how do we start them on the right foot? In the middle of the year, how do we keep them engaged? And at the end of the year, how do we close one semester? I mean, at the end of the semester, how do we close one term and prepare for another? So we're constantly communicating with school personnel, constantly engaging with each other and talking. It's not just sit here and get a bunch of slides. They engage in question and answer as well. And what it's really done is create an opportunity for our team to meet with the public schools team, to put a name with a face, right? That relationship is important for that daily interaction. Your teams know who to contact on our side, and we know who to contact on your team as well to support those learners and make sure that they are successful. And we'll continue to offer those through the spring. They've been, like, as I mentioned, we started them this year, Tuesday at 10, been incredibly successful in the first term, and we're looking forward to that spring term.
And got another one tomorrow.
Yeah. And we're telling everybody this just because it's real. Spring 22 course registration is open in Virtual Virginia, open until the 15th. It is wide open. So there's right now it's unlimited. And if you have virtual learners, we just encourage you to get them in and enrolled as soon as possible. Not only because of the growth here, which I'll talk about in spring in just a second, but just because it starts that process. It starts the communication. We liken to starting a virtual course like starting college. you want to get as much communication to the parents, to the student as possible before they begin. So on day one, they're comfortable, they're not overwhelmed by new things, new information. The other reason why I encourage divisions to get their enrollments in now, like I said, we all forecasted fall 21 would be our biggest semester at Virtual Virginia. It's actually spring 22. The program grew through the fall, and spring 22 is larger than the fall. So that's a good sign for us going forward into spring. It's also a good sign going forward into 22, 23, that things are going well. The partnership is working and that learners are successful and word of mouth is getting around the state. Now, as we turn to 22, 23, everybody wants to know, when is registration open? What are you offering? There's a few unknowns. We have to wait a couple more weeks to get full information about 22, 23, just to see what the General Assembly is going to do, just to see what the new administration wants to do with Virtual Virginia. But we can plan for summer 22. In summer 22, we anticipate quite a bit of growth. In our communications with divisions, we've heard that transportation will be an issue and staffing for upcoming summer session. So they're going to lean into Virtual Virginia. And to be honest, learners are more comfortable doing virtual as well than they were just a year ago. Many learners are. So we do anticipate quite a bit of growth and expansion in summer 22. So here's some things we can tell you right off the bat as you plan for your own summer learning. We will offer enrichment in grades 3 through 5 and courses in grades 6 through 12. As I mentioned, we do anticipate quite a bit of growth. So this year we're going to try something new in summer session as well. We typically have had one cohort that ran from mid-June to late July. This year we're going to break it up into 2 cohorts. So you're going to have an early June start and a mid-June start. And that's to accommodate the differing school calendars across the state. Some start relatively early and some start near or post Labor Day still. So we want to accommodate both school calendars. And in both of those sessions, you're going to have courses and enrichment in grades 3 through 12. And something new at Virtual Virginia is credit recovery over the summer as well. So we want to support schools with as many options as we can. We know summer 22 is going to look just as different as 21, 22 has looked for many of you. And we want to help you support your learners as they look for more options in summer of 22. We do anticipate registration opening in late February for summer 22, because we know there's fiscal impact now with the growth and the enrollment fees of Virtual Virginia. We want to make sure schools are prepared for that. And we do anticipate school year 22, 23 opening at that same time as well. Again, we just have to watch early January and see what sort of legislation could potentially impact that. Okay, let's transition to a program that has also grown dramatically, but is a bit of a shift. We just talked about the K-12 instruction program with Virtual Virginia educators. Now, this is a program I think everybody in here utilizes in some capacity. That is our outreach program. We're going to talk in detail about that again today at 3:30, but we're going to go over some major pieces of that program right now. The first is the statewide LMS. As you know, Virtual Virginia provides all Virginia public school divisions their own instance of the Canvas LMS at no cost. This is big news. Some states do a statewide LMS, which is great, but the Virginia project is extremely unique in these next 3 things that cascade after that statewide LMS. The first is support teams. We provide Virginia public schools with Virtual Virginia. You see one of them sitting over there on his phone, and Canvas sitting here in the back row, support teams at no cost. So you have full access to not only Virtual Virginia support, but Canvas support. And I will say it's top of the line. You can follow these folks around today and see they have a fan club here in Misty. That's because of the relationships they've built in all the school divisions.
You make me blush, Dr. Mom.
Hey, that ain't me. That's the heated heat. The second piece is the content. And this is another critical piece, just as important as the support, is Virtual Virginia provides K-12 courses and resources on the statewide LMS at no cost to Virginia public educators. We know that's a big deal because during the pandemic, teachers were asked to go out and create courses. And many of them found it somewhat rewarding, but also incredibly frustrating. And so at Virtual Virginia, we're able to provide these resources to schools to start as a base. They can modify, change, adapt, tear down, add to them. We don't care. We just make them widely available for public schools to use in blended learning, online, homebound, in the classroom, however you wish to use it. And the second, the last piece is training. This has been incredibly critical because many divisions jumped on Canvas right off the bat. And they've had, the experiences for 2 years using it. Some divisions have had Canvas for over 7 years, and they've been using it here in the Commonwealth as well. Some just started 3 days ago, right? And so our training has to meet all of those needs. And we have built that scaffolding in a way that when divisions come on board, they can access the training and the professional learning where they are. And again, that's all available at no cost. And so I referenced one of the biggest pieces of this program is the content that is made available from Virtual Virginia to in-person educators. I'll let Sarah talk about what's currently available and what we're really excited about. That third column is the expansion upcoming.
Thanks, Brian. So Outreach has been around for a while. It's been around since 2011. We're with the EPF course. That was the very first one that was released statewide. We have been slowly releasing materials, focusing first on math and science. And then with the pandemic in March of 2020, everything changed. And we decided that we would try as much as we can to release our full courses and also to create courses where we didn't have them. And K-8 was really that space where we didn't have much content. So right now, what's available, K-5, we have full modules for each grade level in reading, writing, math, social studies, and science. And these cover all of the standards. They're built in a very similar way. So they start with the introduction and the objectives for students to really focus in on what the concepts are that they're going to be learning. The content is presented in a couple of different ways. We work in video, there is some text. We also work in interactives into presenting the content. We want students to have those formative assessments built into the content lessons. Students always have an application where they test their knowledge, which is low stakes, just practice. And then they have an assignment at the end. And that's something that they're going to get teacher feedback on. So it could be a project, it could be a writing assignment, it could be a video that they create. So it really depends on the nature of the lesson. The other piece that we're really proud about are the STEM lessons. We have 8 modules of STEM projects, and these are meant to be done over this period of a month. And they coordinate directly with the math and science standards. And they're just a practical application for students to really see what materials they have available to them and try out the experiment. And what we're finding is that some divisions are choosing to use this to support their division project-based assessments. So for example, in grade 3 science, we've integrated the DOE rubric so that divisions can choose to use this, and it gives some flexibility. So teachers can again take all of this content and make it their own, add to it. We encourage divisions to take any assessments, any projects that they've added and created in their curriculum departments to really make this their own. At the 6 to 12 level, we offer all of our core courses in the main areas in English, math, science, and social studies, 28 advanced placement courses. In electives right now, we have Chinese, French, Latin, and Spanish available. We are continuing, and we have 1 Arabic course, and we're continuing to add. We'll talk about that expansion in just a moment. Computer science, we have the middle school computer science electives. It's that 36-week course. We also have foundations, principles, and programming, and the 2 AP courses, the AP computer science principles, which was built in conjunction with Code VA. And then our health and PE, 6 through 10. The only difference is that 10 does not include driver's ed, and we are hearing from divisions that would be a good support. So it's on the table that we may be adding some content there. And again, the credit recovery. Brian mentioned that we are offering that this summer, but we have those courses available if a division wants to use that however you choose. So they're 6 through 12, 4 courses, all the core areas, English, math, science, and social studies. And so again, that gives some options for however you might choose to implement it. With a teacher of record, with a facilitator, you can use Mastery Pass. You can really go in and really make it fit whatever the needs of the students are.
Quiz time. Ooh, mid-slide too, not even another one. This is spicy. If your division is implementing a blended learning approach, could you reference resources of Virtual Virginia as a head start? Stafford.
Yes.
All right, bath row.
Right.
So, and that's really what when we get to this expansion, I wanted to kind of preface that I have kids in a division that uses these resources and my own home. And it is so nice as a parent to be able to get that real-time information from the LMS to the SIS. And I can see it when I log in the parent app. I can get updated performance. I can talk to my daughter when she comes home about how she did on things. And she's a 6th grader, and their teachers have really embraced this. I have a 4th grader, and their teachers haven't truly embraced it yet. And we get the typical dump into the grade book every couple of weeks. The grades come in, and we really aren't familiar with the context and how she's doing. So as a parent, the level of transparency on my side by using an LMS, using the resources for blended learning while they're in person, has been a game changer. And I'm really excited about the expansion Sarah's going to talk about here in just a bit, talk about more resources.
So what gets added? We are committed to every time we create a course or revise a course, we are planning to share it out in Commons. That is part of our model now, and we want it to be a part because of our model going forward, because we know what an important support it provides for divisions. So all of our core and elective courses that have been created, as they go through a new revision, and sometimes we revise within a 4 to 5 year cycle. We want to make sure that we're using the most current standards. So for example, all of our science courses are using those 2018 standards. Our world languages courses are integrating the new standards that were adopted in March. And as the social studies and the health and PE standards are adopted, we're going to be continuing to integrate those. We also want to make sure we're using the latest technology. We're transitioning over to using H5P for our interactives. It gives so much flexibility for what we can do in presenting content, in testing students' knowledge, and also in providing in our credit recovery, we use the H5P book where students can then get their own summary of how they perform. So we're finding different uses for it and trying to integrate that in our model. World languages, we are getting a large expansion. We are going to continue to add some of the harder taught or harder to find languages. We'll be adding German, Japanese, and Italian, starting with level 1, and then we'll be working in subsequent years to go up to AP. We are also adding K-5 elementary world languages content. And this kind of speaks to my heart because I'm a former Spanish teacher, and the earlier you start students, the better it is. So we will be adding French, Spanish, and Chinese content, and we'll be adding new content in future years. And that can be integrated as a special. It could be that there's some world languages or some teachers in the K-5 realm who have some experience. Maybe they have a minor and wanted to integrate just a couple of lessons to differentiate what they're doing in the classroom. So we're very excited about that part. Health and PE, we are adding K-5 content. In CTE, this is the area probably of biggest expansion. We recognized for a while, particularly at the middle school level, that we didn't have that many options. We didn't offer that many CTE options at all. So what we're doing is adding over 10 different courses for the middle and high school level. We'll do levels 1 and 2 because we recognize that students need that for graduation. So some of the courses that we're building that will go live in August include family and consumer sciences, health and medical sciences, agri-science, cybersecurity, business and marketing, and we're continuing to add year after year. So we're excited to be able to kind of jump into this for the first time in CTE. Fine and performing arts, we're also going to see a big expansion in art and music. These will be grade level for K-5. At the secondary level, we'll be adding courses in general music, in theater, and in visual arts. So big expansion in fine arts. Computer science, we are creating grade level specific content for K-5, so it will be supporting different standards. That could be integrated with the STEM lessons. It could also be a standalone special. So it gives a lot of options for how teachers may want to implement that in different divisions. And finally, English language supports. We recognized for a while that the work that our English language teachers do is difficult. They often have to differentiate for a lot of students in one classroom. Sometimes it's only a pull-out method for getting students one-to-one. So we want to be able to provide some additional support for them. And we're starting with the beginning levels, LEP levels 1 and 2, and that will give some options for teachers. As Brian said, teachers are using this in different ways. It could be blended instruction, could be one-to-one supports. We are also seeing test support. We're also seeing homebound instruction. So lots of different models and different ways that this can be used. It's also possible that if a division wants to launch their own academy, they could use this as a foundation and then continue to build up, because our courses are built from the Virginia standards. It's not like you're taking outside content and trying to make it fit. It is built with these standards from the ground up.
Yeah, and again, that expansion is going to be critical. We know that a lot of divisions are using the K-12 existing content. Going forward, as the LMS grows, as more divisions recognize that blended learning really is the future of in-person instruction, having more resources is going to be key. Again, just as a starting point, once you get the resource, you can do whatever you'd like to it. Your teachers can change, modify, and edit. The last program we're going to talk about today is, and again, all of these programs have grown so dramatically, is our professional learning program. This is a space we see a lot of potential growth in the future, because the days of organizing professional learning locally with your division have clearly changed. Finding subs, finding a centralized space, bringing donuts, those days are probably over. We're all going to miss the donuts, but those days are gone. And teachers, honestly, educators prefer the flexibility to explore new practices, do more, all at their own pace. And so at Virtual Virginia, we recognize this, and we are making all of our professional learning not only widely available across the state, but also all of it at no cost. Virtual Virginia does have a catalog of offerings that you can go check out now at our website. They're available 24/7, 365. Educators can register and start those courses the next day and finish them at their own time. And what's really unique about the professional learning at Virtual Virginia, we develop a lot of it in-house. We have the Canvas team developing a lot of professional learning. We have the VISTI team developing a lot of professional learning. Other organizations like VASCD, the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, other professional organizations we're communicating with are now recognizing the scalability of online professional learning, the ability for educators to do more and to interact with other places or organizations they may not have been able to interact in a face-to-face environment. So this program is poised to skyrocket. I think of all the three programs we're talking today, this one has the most potential for growth just based on the atmosphere in K-12. And we're trying to get our educators supported and engaged and trying to find as many options as we can for them. One of the initiatives that you may have seen this logo out and about is our VIBE initiative. And that's an acronym for Virginia's into Blended Education. And this is our campaign to promote blended learning across the state and all of Virginia's public schools. As I mentioned, I do think that in-person learning is now blended learning. I don't think we can really go back to just not incorporating some of the tools and technologies that we've all learned to use over the last 2 years. And this is our year-long effort to support students and engage educators and really help them meet students' individual needs. So our series this fall, I think it's one more left, right, on this?
Correct.
Okay, great. So we had Let's Vibe, and that was focusing on different themes in blended education. These were presented by the campus team, some of them here today, VISTI, some of them here today, as well as their conference. And we really wanted to give workshops throughout the fall that focused on supported blended learning. Any takeaways from that, from the guys, people that are here today, from start to finish?
I think it's been some of the access to this has helped get some buy-in from people who hadn't really bought in. It's also been really great for train the trainers models where people have learned and said, okay, well, now I can turn around and see how this works with my team because my team does things differently or you know, we have this group of teachers who aren't really into it. And so they're able to see it work, apply it, and then use it for themselves. I think it's just been really great because we try to offer as much as possible. I mean, I feel like we're constantly making workshops and putting things out there. We've even had people say to us, there's just too much professional learning. And we're like, okay, then we're doing our job right.
That's right, that's right.
Then we're doing something right.
Well, and this is that you know, all the cliches you want to use. Wow, but when the dust settles, we're going to find out what was good and what worked and what was secure, and it's going to be the way things are going forward. This is where we are, sort of post-pandemic or mid-pandemic, wherever you think we are. We're going to come out of this with a whole new understanding of tools and resources, and you have to ensure that every classroom is led by an engaged and supported educator. They have to feel like this is their future, and so we want people to feel comfortable. And I think that this series has done a lot throughout the fall, as Casey just referenced, to help more and more people feel comfortable. It is a process. And so you get a few people uncomfortable in a division, that spreads.
If I could just mention, you talked about the process, that this campaign sort of grew from our blended learning conference back in May of this year. We had some wonderful presentations and a lot of participation from folks all over the state. So we continue to highlight some of those same themes. And our very first initiative for Vibe was a brief series we did in the summer called Catch the Vibe. And that actually started, when was that, Casey? July 5th or something like that? It was,
Yeah, right after July.
It was right. We started in July. Those were weekly. Those ran into the first or second week of August. And they were fantastic presentations. But what I really liked was the collaboration, because it wasn't just Canvas folks. It wasn't just Virtual Virginia, but kind of, education rock stars from all across the state, from large divisions, from small divisions. Everybody's doing some really great stuff. And that, I think, is what really helped, because, one division might say, well, we only have 3,000 students, or whatever. Our population might be small, but they can attend one of those and say, well, that's the same in, Lee County or whatever it may be. They're doing some amazing stuff. You don't have to have a huge student population or this many resources. You can still do some of these great things. And so the series that's kind of wrapping up now kind of continues with that. And we're going to do our next blended learning conference, wink, wink, February 5th.
Spoiler alert. It's coming
Spoiler
up.
alert, it's on the way. Yes, yes. So,
And as Stephen mentioned, it's really important that we're addressing the need and engaging these educators. And one place that is a big need that we see is, over the last 2 years, teachers have learned all types of new resources, all types of new approaches, all types of new tools. Central office, you all have learned new vocabulary, new tools, and new approaches. Where we didn't necessarily miss it, but where we see a gap is those building level administrators. And so this winter, we're going to be very intentional on giving them support and engaging those administrators, showing them how they can model how Canvas can be used with their staff, just even as a central hub to share and communicate and house resources for their staff, one place to go. And so we're going to intentionally offer that for building level administrators. And also one of the things that makes Canvas LMS so unique, there are many things, but one of that is the accessibility tools. We're going to focus on those tools and really highlight and showcase those this winter as well. So if you're into Canvas, if you've been using it for a while, we encourage you to jump on those. If you're new and exploring Canvas, we highly encourage you, partially because this winter is going to be places that everybody needs help with the building level administrators. Also, those accessibility tools are so special. All right, quiz time. Arlington, I'm looking at you. And Bristol too now, we got to get another one. Is Virtual Virginia Professional Learning available at no cost? Yeah, softball, there you go.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was a tough
That was
one.
a hard one there.
One of the interesting pieces about the professional learning side of Virtual Virginia is we have leveraged the LMS in ways that honestly, I've never seen it done before. And when other states look at our project in Virginia, this is one space that really gets them interested. We just shared this with another state recently last week, and they were blown away. So when you log into the LMS, every teacher has a homepage or a dashboard, and they have the different courses they're teaching as tiles, kind of like squares set up there, and they can click on it and jump into that course. There's another tile there that says the Statewide Professional Learning Network. And that's a space where it's a pipeline where all the teachers in the Commonwealth are connected. And they can join user groups based on their grade level, their subject area. And within those user groups, they can share resources, communicate, and collaborate. So what we're doing is we're building a standing professional network of educators across the Commonwealth of Virginia. I will be incredibly honest with you. We are in year 1.4 of this. We're not even into year 2 yet. I'm blown away by the growth. And I'll have some folks here to talk about it in just a second. Last year, we had 40,000 educators enrolled in the professional learning network. This year, it's 77,000. So it's nearly all the educators in the state are now connected through the learning management system. Stephen, you want to talk a little bit about the PLN and some of the things that teachers can access through it?
Absolutely. What we decided to do, first of all, we had sort of an existing model of a PLN prior to last year, and it was very much content-based. We had a lot of resources from Go Open VA, eMedia VA, and we at Virtual Virginia tried to do all of the curating. We tried to provide, you can join this portion and it's the social studies portion, and we're going to provide curated lists of resources, which was fine, that was great. But it didn't really encourage a lot of that networking that we really wanted to see. So at the beginning of last year, we sort of revamped the PLN, and we provided 21 different user groups so that if you were a science teacher, you could kind of go in and participate in that unique science PLN user group. And you would not only get eMedia VA and Go Open, resources, but also those periodic things that come down from the DOE and other, curated things that we can find to help teachers, and also a space that you could collaborate, with each other. That's what we really wanted. This year, at the beginning of this academic year, we tried to kick that up a notch even more. And so teachers can now actually enroll and participate as students. So they have access to the discussion areas, they have access to announcements. It helps us because we can see data, we can see, oh, okay, we put out a resource and that one really wasn't as popular, but when we talked about this particular thing, everybody really liked that. Maybe we should focus a little bit more on that, try to get some of those kinds of things. We have incentives, we have little challenges. We try to focus on different topics each month, for example, student engagement or effective LMS usage. So there's a bit of an incentive to get in and participate, all with the goal though for the best outcomes for the students. So it has really, it's been a pleasure to work with that. It's been a lot of fun. It kind of keeps me in on the teaching side. I love being a part of it and doing those announcements and participating. I mean, I'll jump in and do a flip grid, at the drop of a hat. So, but it has worked really, really well.
And when people talk about Virtual Virginia, they talk about the K-12 instruction program. We talked about that. They talk about the outreach program, which are two incredible programs. But this PLN really piques their interest. They really see how the technology is being used and how it can be used in their state to not only connect educators, but connect them to resources, connect them to their learning. And so that communication and collaboration is happening in all areas outside of K-12. Why are we immune to that? Why aren't we doing that here? So this program, I think you will see quite a bit of growth the next year or two as well. As Stephen spoiled, we had, last year we had our very first online conference for educators. This year it's back, round 2. And last year was a very sunny Saturday in May, very warm. And I remember I was like, I don't know if
No one's gonna show, Casey. No one's gonna show.
We were just coming out of the thing and everybody was coming. We still had over 1,500 registered for this conference. And what is unique is it's
500 showed that day
500 on the day.
that's pretty good.
on a Saturday.
On a warm Saturday in May. What's unique about this conference is it's all Virginia educator presenters for Virginia educators. There are other conferences out there that are for Virginia educators. And this one is entirely online and presented by Virginia educators. So if you have folks in your division who are experienced users with Canvas or an LMS, and they want to go see what's going on in other divisions, we highly recommend they attend this conference. If you're just exploring using an LMS and you want to show your educators what's happening in other places across the state, we also encourage you to send your folks to this conference. There's a pamphlet in your Visti bag as well that has more information and a QR code to automatically register as well. Anything else you want to say about the conference? I know I've left a couple.
Just that it is not Canvas specific. There are certainly some Canvas, some sessions that do highlight Canvas, but it is blended learning specific. So each of the strands will focus on some blended learning topic, but oh gosh, what's the one? We had a proposal submitted that was something like educational coaching, the Ted Lasso way.
Ted
Nice.
Lasso. Yeah, there's Ted Lasso.
You know what? That made me go, Stephen needs to attend that one. But we have lots of great proposals, lots of great presentations lined up. I think I see at least one person in this room who submitted one. I'm not going to call anybody out. But some people dress up. Some people put on costumes and things I'm not going to say who would do such a thing. But, yeah, we have a great deal of fun. Not those Canvas people. No. But it's a great deal of fun. Again, there's a great takeaway from it. We do focus on reflection and not a great deal on theory, but on practical application. We want people to leave and say, oh, I can use that with my students tomorrow. Or I can take that back to my school division and share that out.
That's exactly what I was going to say, closing this one, is it's so important for educators, as I mentioned, to feel engaged and feel supported. And if they're seeing it's happening in the division right next to them or in their region or even across the state, but it's a similar makeup of that, they can do it too. And it's so powerful and so empowering. A lot of the feedback we got from last year was that I didn't know this was happening all over the place, right? So just having them explore and see other educators out there doing amazing things can be that catalyst, that accelerant. All right, I'm letting you pick. Red or black? But you got to answer it right. Is the recipe for success a no-cost conference? Yes. What do you want? I know the black one's done. This will be on eBay for $50 later. All right, Sarah, let you wrap it up.
All right, so in summary, our spring enrollment is open until December 15th, and we will be opening our enrollment for the next year in February. We are looking to, for the upcoming year, to finalize those pieces. But we encourage you to just keep checking back. We have our dates on the website for that. We'll be posting updates regularly. Our school support meetings, again, those are every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. We have generally some reminders and presentation part, but we also take Q&A. And that's really where the richest questions come in. And those conversations I think are helpful because sometimes someone will ask a question that you had been wondering about, but hadn't thought to ask. Summer session 2022, and again, that's early spring. We say early spring, but maybe even late winter. So we're looking to that. Outreach, we are continuing to make everything available content-wise on the statewide LMS. We are continuing to update and roll those resources out. We have a calendar on the website that will show what the latest releases will be, and we plan on August of every year of the next year content coming out. The VIBE initiative, again, is supporting blended learning, and we've got the other pieces coming out supporting administrators and accessibility, which if you all are building content in your own divisions, that is a fantastic one to make sure that you attend. And again, we are committed to increasing our offerings, improving our offerings every year. And what we didn't ask before, but I do want to just take a minute to ask now, of the courses that we mentioned that we are offering, is there anything missing?
How get comfortable.
Yes.
Just because we're struggling with it currently, you mentioned a lot of languages, ASL. It would be great to see that offered.
It's like Christmas. Okay, so ASL 1 through 3 will be released in August.
gosh.
And that was one that I
There you
had.
go.
We
How did I not
We
know
are
that?
committed to, we teach ASL 1 through 3 now, and it was content that we had through another partner school program very similar to Virtual Virginia, and we are building our own, and those will be released. So yes. Anything else?
New video content.
Yes, there is some new video content that is coming out supporting the ASL courses. Also, we have video content through Blue Ridge PBS that is supporting chemistry and physics. We wanted to focus in on just getting really high quality lab experiences and demonstrations. And so that's why we started with the science content. What am I leaving out about it? Because you all have done a beautiful job with that content.
Physics hasn't been released yet, but it's being revised right now, should be soon. Chemistry's been very well received. We're looking forward to ASL. We're ready to jump on that first of the year. And those are available both in the Canvas courses and also available live streamed, not live streams, on demand streamed on a YouTube channel for those schools who prefer to access it that way. But
Who would prefer to access that?
well, it's just
Really?
there
No, just
for
kidding.
people who are people at home, for example, homeschoolers. That's
Do we put them on Go Open? I can't remember.
yeah, the chemistry is in Go Open. Finally got it approved, and they're all through. Physics will as soon as it's done. We also have some early childhood content that we produce that we've identified that will need some standards. And if I can get the person who produces them to work on all the standard correlations, those will also be submitted to Go Open. So we're committed to giving everything that's instructional. It's a new initiative, Blue Ridge PBS, and it's not my session, so I'll be quiet about it. If you have questions.
But it's a great example of resources created for Virtual Virginia courses, for Go Open, for the streaming channel. I mean, we're just trying to get these things out there.
Our acronym that I used, I worked for Virtual Virginia for years, and the acronym I said many times there, and I carried the Blue Ridge PBS, it's the acronym of COPE. Create once, play everywhere. Once you make something, why not share it with
Amen.
everybody, and why not make it, if it's already been paid for, why
No.
try to put it behind a paywall? So everything's free and available.
And
And I think
we're proud of that partnership because
Yeah.
we're able to get things out, just to scale it out.
And I think it speaks to the larger partnership. We partner with divisions, we're partnering with different groups across the state to create professional learning, to really enhance what's in our courses and make it fully available. It is a part of just in enhancing education in Virginia.
I have a question that's really on a totally different topic. I keep reading these treatises that say, online learning was a complete disaster during COVID. And it doesn't sound like that was your experience. So
It can be, and I've used the saying that to have the three biggest components to have successful online learning is you have to have relevant, engaging content. You have to have a supported educator, and you really need to have an engaged parent or guardian. If one of those three isn't there, you can have some problems. And in Virtual Virginia, we've been doing this for 15 years online, 16 years this year. Prior to that, it was 14 years on satellites where they would beam the instruction, kids would sit and watch it. We actually have one teacher with us still who was doing satellite instruction.
It's amazing.
She's still with us, but if you don't have one of those three pillars there, you can have some challenges. And public school divisions were thrown to that. They just weren't necessarily prepared. We tried to offer professional learning in the spring, right when the pandemic hit, but there was just a lot to consume at that point. So at Virtual Virginia, a lot of the challenges that school divisions had or these providers had when they grew, we had those 15 years ago. Right? So we have things in place now that are, early warnings for students who begin to slip. We have an engagement protocol with parents, guardians, school divisions. We mentioned the partnership meetings there. So we've kind of been there, right? And now we're looking forward. That's what's unique about our perspective of Virtual Virginia is we're not kind of stuck or mired in the current. We're thinking about what's the next step. And so I would imagine that a lot of online learning did not go well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you guys should write a paper or something and put it out there as a
In your spare time.
counter.
Yeah. Let me knock that out before I check out of my hotel.
Yeah, no problem, right?
No, but we are truly, genuinely, we are excited about the future, not only of the courses that we're teaching, the growth that we're happening, but in public school districts, the Commonwealth. As I mentioned, there are a lot of eyes nationally on Virginia now on what's happening. And I'm not saying it's all to do with this, but this is a piece of it. And this is really what the driving force will be for in-person learning, hopefully going forward as well.
So I'm going to respond to a question from the online group, Personal Finance. Our EPF course is fully available. It is available in separate parts. Economics and personal finance is those that can be imported, or is the full course, and it was recently Quality Matters certified. So we're very proud of that. Professional learning, again, just to recap, we have the expanded PL program. We're continuing to add courses as we develop them in-house and through our partnerships. That professional learning catalog, again, is available on the website. Teachers can go in and enroll. There are professional learning points that are awarded for the completion of the courses. So it just gives some flexibility. Teachers aren't tied by geography or a specific time frame for that offering. The statewide PLN that you all have heard about, we're very proud about that. So please go back and share and take that back to your divisions. And again, that blending conference that's coming up on February 5th.
A cold, blustery Saturday. Stay
Yes.
inside.
Stay inside and come join us.
You're open for snow, aren't you?
Yeah, it's coming. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll stick around for questions if you guys have any, but I know it's about lunchtime, so
Thank
everybody
you.
start now.
Our online group.
Did everybody get a hat? Gene, do you have a hat yet?
I have one.
Ooh.
You get out and you get out. You get out.
Everybody gets a hat. Thanks, guys.
Oh.
Okay. Did you get